Dr. Carter's office? The receptionist said carefully. I'm sorry, Miss Olivia, but your parents have decided not to move forward with your partnership request. They feel you're not financially positioned to buy into the practice. I stared at my phone in silence. Financially positioned? In the background, I could hear my mother's voice, sharp, impatient. Tell her we can't risk the reputation of the clinic. Sentiment doesn't pay malpractice insurance. My father added, not even lowering his voice, she chose storybooks over medicine. Actions have consequences. The line went dead. I sat in my office overlooking the east wing of St. Catherine's Medical Center and slowly exhaled. They were right about one thing. Actions do have consequences. My name is Olivia Carter. I'm 26 years old, and officially, I'm a children's librarian in our small town. I host reading hours, organize literacy drives, and help shy 7-year-olds fall in love with books. It's quiet work, meaningful work, the kind of work that doesn't come with flashy salaries or luxury cars. My parents have never understood it. Both of them are surgeons. They built Carter Advanced Medical Clinic from the ground up 20 years ago. Growing up, dinner conversations revolved around operating rooms, malpractice cases, expansions, and new surgical equipment. Success in our house was measured in degrees and income brackets. My older sister, Amelia, followed perfectly in their footsteps. She's finishing her residency and already talks like she owns the place. Confident, polished, ambitious. And then there's me, the daughter who wasted her potential. I did go to medical school. I even did well. But halfway through, I realized I was chasing their dream, not mine. I loved pediatric rotations, not the surgeries, but the moments before and after, the stories, the comfort, the way a book could calm a frightened child better than any sedative. So I left. I switched majors, finished a master's in library sciences, took a job at the town library, and just like that, I became the family disappointment. At every gathering, my parents introduced Amelia with pride. Future cardiothoracic surgeon, they'd say, glowing. Then they'd get to me. Olivia works with books. No one ever asked more. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that 5 years ago, my grandmother left me something far greater than anyone imagined. Grandma Ruth had always been the quiet one in the family. While my parents chased prestige, she built wealth quietly through commercial real estate and early tech investments. She lived modestly, drove the same sedan for 15 years, wore simple clothes. But behind the scenes, she was brilliant. When she passed away, she left her entire portfolio to me, $58 million. Her letter to me was simple. You understand that money is a tool, not an identity. Use it wisely. I never told my parents. I didn't need to. I kept working at the library. I worked with her financial advisor to grow the investments responsibly. I donated anonymously to literacy programs. I funded children's hospital wings quietly. My life looked small, but it wasn't. Last year, St. Catherine's Medical Center, our town's largest hospital, was on the brink of collapse. Mismanagement, outdated infrastructure, rising debts. The board began searching for a private investor willing to acquire majority ownership and restructure operations. I attended one of those board meetings under a different name, Olivia Ruth Holdings, LLC. I didn't flaunt my wealth. I presented a plan. Modernization, pediatric expansion, community outreach, financial stabilization. They accepted. Within 6 months, I became the majority owner of St. Catherine's Medical Center. No press conference, no ribbon cutting with my name on it. The board respected my request for privacy. Publicly, the acquisition was listed under my holding company. Privately, I signed every major decision. And one of those decisions directly affected my parents. Carter Advanced Medical Clinic had been negotiating a partnership deal with St. Catherine's to expand surgical privileges and merge specialty services. It would elevate their status and significantly increase revenue. They didn't know who they were negotiating with. When my father learns I had inquired through a third party about potentially buying into their private clinic as a minority investor, he scoffed. She can't afford that. librarians don't buy medical practices. That's when they rejected me, not knowing I owned the hospital they were begging to partner with. The confrontation happened on Sunday dinner. Amelia was animated, discussing the upcoming merger. Once St. Catherine's finalizes everything, we'll be untouchable. The clinic's valuation will double. Dad nodded proudly. This partnership will secure our legacy. I set my fork down gently. What if the hospital declines? They laughed. Decline, my mother said. They need us. Actually, I replied calmly, they don't. My father frowned. You wouldn't understand. This is high-level negotiation. I looked at him evenly. I understand more than you think. Amelia rolled her eyes. Olivia, this isn't story time at the library. I reached into my bag and placed a folder on the table. Inside were the finalized acquisition documents, the board signatures, my signature. Olivia Ruth Holdings, LLC, majority shareholders, St. Catherine's Medical Center. My father's expression shifted first, from annoyance to confusion. My mother leaned forward. What is this? I purchased the hospital last year, I said simply. I'm the majority owner. Silence swallowed the room. Amelia laughed nervously. That's not funny. I'm not joking. My father's face drained of color as he flipped through the pages. This can't be right. It is. But you don't have that kind of money. Yes, I do. I explained about Grandma, the portfolio, the investments, the holding company. Every word felt steady, measured. My mother sank back in her chair. You hid this from us. You never asked. Amelia's voice cracked. So, when we were negotiating, you were negotiating with me, I finished. The weight of it settled in. All the comments about my lack of ambition, all the subtle digs about my income, the rejection of my request to invest in their clinic because I was too poor. My father finally spoke. Why didn't you tell us? Because you measure worth by income, I said quietly, and I wanted to know if you could respect me without it. They had no answer. In the weeks that followed, everything shifted. The hospital board formalized the partnership terms, but under my conditions: greater community outreach, pro bono surgical quotas, a pediatric literacy wing funded under an anonymous donor's name, Grandma Ruth. My parents signed the agreement. They had no choice. But something else changed, too. For the first time, they looked at me differently, not because of the money, because of the restraint, because I could have humiliated them publicly and didn't. Amelia tried to corner me after dinner one evening. You could have told me, she said. You could have respected me without needing proof, I replied. Tyler-type men didn't exist in this story. No dramatic champagne spills, no shouting, just realization. My father came to the hospital one afternoon for a board meeting and paused outside the pediatric wing. Children sat on colorful rugs while volunteers read stories. The plaque near the entrance read, "In honor of Ruth Carter, for the children." He stood there for a long time. Later, he knocked on my office door. I misjudged you, he said simply. I know, I replied. Money changes how people see you, but character changes how they remember you. I still drive my grandmother's old Honda. I still work at the library 3 days a week because I love it. I still shop secondhand and donate quietly. Owning a hospital didn't change who I am. It just revealed who they were. They thought I was too poor for their medical practice. They never imagined I owned the building their practice depended on. And here's what I've learned. The loudest wealth demands attention. The strongest wealth requires none. Sometimes the richest person in the room is the one who never mentions it. And sometimes the daughter they underestimated is the one signing the contracts all along.